Okay, this is the project for unit TAEDEL401A. Okay, Kelsey,
Yes.
we're going to do an assessment on your ability to utilise the functional movement pattern frame.
Yep.
Okay, it's a piece of equipment that's got a plethora of different options available. Okay, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to relay those questions back to me to the best of your knowledge. Okay, and then at the end of it, we're going to go through your responses and see how you went, whether you're competent or not competent in utilising the piece of equipment.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
So, to start off with, how would we identify the hazards on this piece of equipment?
How?
Yep, what sort of things are we looking for?
Essentially on this piece of equipment, we'd be looking at things like pinch points. If there's anywhere where we can, hazards where we can maybe jam our fingers in, such as up here when we bring this down. Looking at things like broken pins on the weights, and making sure that the cables are fine in case they snap or if they're really, really loose. Or also, I'm looking to make sure that these rings are in place, otherwise we can't attach any sort of attachments onto the piece of equipment. And also making sure that the attachments are fine as well, like on the tricep rope, I'm checking to make sure that's not really frayed and it's in good condition. And making sure that in these attachments the rubber is fine and not in any way cracked and dry, which could cause injury to our hands upon grip. And also making sure that the weight is at a correct for the client as well, and make sure that the weight is not too heavy where it could cause injury upon attempt. And I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Okay, so what are the immediate things that we check for?
Immediate things that we
Yep.
check for. Probably depending on the exercise we choose, we need to make sure that everything is in a working order. Make sure that, as I said before, that the pins are fine so we can use the weight plates correctly, and make sure that all the attachments are in the correct place so that the client can easily take them off and attach them. Make sure these rings are in place as well. Essentially just make sure that there's no hazards that could really affect the client upon performing any particular exercise.
Okay. What would you do if you found something broken on the equipment?
If I found something broken on the equipment, I would deem the equipment unusable. I'd put up a sign and I'd approach my supervisor and tell them what exactly I found wrong with the piece of equipment.
Okay, and how soon would you do that?
Straight away.
Okay.
You don't want to risk anyone else attempting to use it in the process. So I
Okay.
pretty much put it up straight away. Approach my supervisor straight away.
Okay, cool. So, what I'd like you to do now
Yep.
is demonstrate to me 5 different exercises that can be done on this piece of equipment.
Yeah,
Okay?
no worries.
I want you to take your time to explain to me what the muscle is that we're using and how you would safely set it up to use for operation.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so pick an exercise.
Alrighty, let's start with the standing row.
Yep.
So we've already got the attachment on here, but for the purpose of this demonstration I am going to take it off. So the standing row, we're first going to bring this down to probably just so the cable is towards our abdomen. And we're going to pick up the attachment for the row, which is these handles here. We're going to clip it on, and we're just going to make sure that is at the correct height for the client or the person using it. We're also going to adjust the weight. We may need to play around with the weight a little bit and to see what is comfortable. So we will start off quite light to start off with, and then if we need to, we'll bring the weight down heavier.
Okay.
So to perform the standing row, I'm going to gently take a few steps back to put some tension on the cable. We're going to have our feet about hip width apart. We're going to have our knees slightly bent and braced and squeezing those glutes. And we're going to start off with our arms straight, our chest up, our shoulders back and down. And this exercise is going to work our back. And we're going to gently squeeze into our back and hold it there for a second, and then return to the starting position. And without letting our shoulders roll forward.
Okay.
And just keeping the back neutral and squeezing the back again and returning to the starting position. And
Excellent.
once you're done, you're going to gently put this back. And that's for the standing row.
Okay, what's another exercise you can do?
Another exercise is the tricep pull down. So we're going to change the attachment. So simply unclip the attachment, and we're going to grab the rope for the tricep pull down. We're going to attach it as so, and we're going to adjust this and put it all the way at the top. So again, I'm holding on and making sure that you don't drop it. I'm holding out the pin, pushing it all the way to the top, and leaving it go until it clicks into a slot. Again, we're going to have to play around with the weight, and we'll start off quite light. With a tricep pull down, again we're going to have our feet about hip width apart, our knees nice and soft and braced, and we're going to gently pull the rope down, and we're going to have our elbows in at our sides, and we're going to gently pull the rope down and out, and slowly bring it back up, and keep repeating that, and keeping the shoulders back and not hunched forward, and spine neutral, and always keeping the elbows in at the sides. Alrighty?
Okay,
And
excellent.
keeping the core nice and tight, and slowly bring it back up until the weight plate has safely lowered, and that's the tricep pull down.
Excellent. Okay, number 3.
Alright, and number 3, we're going to do a bicep curl. So, I'm taking off the attachment for the rope and hooking it back on, and we're going to lower this all the way down to the floor. Alrighty? And for our bicep curl, we're going to use the bar. So attaching the bar onto the hook here. Get on. Alrighty. Now for our bicep curl, I'm going to squat down and grab the bar, squeeze the glutes. We're going to gently bring this up and into our starting position. And we're going to brace. Our knees are nice and soft and braced. Keeping the elbows in at our sides, our core tight, our shoulders back. We're going to curl up and gently lower back down. Really squeezing into the biceps. And then gently return the weight and back down, and squatting down and putting down the bar.
So why do we squat down?
So that we don't hurt our back.
Excellent. Okay, 2 more.
You mean one more? Or do you want 2 more?
2 more.
2 more.
We've done 3, we want 5.
Okie dokie. Right, our next one, and we're going to do a face pull.
Okay.
So, we're going to de-attach this attachment again and put this safely back in its position. A face pull, and we're going to grab on the rope again. Now, we first bring this back up all the way to the top, squatting down, so we don't hurt our back. We're putting it all the way at the top. Attaching the rope. Again, and we're going to have to play around with the weight, but we'll start off quite light.
Yeah.
So, our face pull, and we're going to gently bring the rope out and to put some tension onto the cable. And we're going to brace ourselves So our knees are nice and soft, our back is neutral, our glutes are tight, our core is tight, and we're going to make sure that our shoulders are back. Now this exercise works your back and your shoulders, and we're going to make sure that our elbows are kept up, and we're going to pull the rope towards us, hand apart, alright, and gently returning back to starting position. Again, without letting our shoulders roll forward. And so repeating that, squeeze into the back.
So why don't we let our shoulders roll forward?
We don't let our shoulders roll forward because it will disengage our back, and we could end up hunching, and we start using our traps to pull the rope back into the exercise, alright?
Excellent.
Alrighty. After that is done, again we gently return the rope until the weight plate has safely landed.
Yep.
And yep, that's for the face pull.
Okay, so what's one more exercise that we can do?
One more exercise that we can do is a lateral raise.
Okay.
So to do a lat raise, again we're going to detach the rope and put it back into its position. For the lat raise, we're going to grab this little handle here. The lat raise, we want to bring this all the way down until it clicks in, and then we know that it's safely. Oops. Alrighty, so we're going to attach the little handles. Alrighty. Now for our lat raise, we probably want the weight quite light. So our lat raise, to do our right side first, it is a unilateral exercise. And we're going to grab the handle with our right hand crossed over. And we're going to keep ourselves nice and stable. Our glutes are tight, our core is tight, our chest is up, our shoulders are back and down, and we're simply going to raise the cable up to about parallel, hold it there for a second and then back down, gently returning back to starting position and repeating.
What's that noise?
That is the cable getting a little bit stuck. So let's do that.
So what could be a potential hazard if the cable gets stuck?
If the cable gets stuck, it depends how stuck the cable is, but you could end up jarring a client's muscle, or simply the exercise is not going to be as effective because resistance is lost in the cable.
Okay, so what would you do?
To be honest, I don't know that.
Okay, no worries. Okay, excellent. All right, so a couple of little questions.
Yes.
How do you do a fingertip pull-up?
Oh, that's a hard one, Matt. I would not have a clue, to be honest.
Okay. Can you tell me where you do a fingertip pull-up on this piece of equipment?
I would assume that you'd use these black handles at the top here, which are used mainly for pull-ups and chin-ups.
Okay.
Ab exercises as well, like leg raises.
And lastly,
Yes.
is it safe for a 12-year-old to do weight training?
I would say no.
Why?
Well, purely probably because the child's muscles are probably still developing. That is a hard one, Matt. Wouldn't really quite know how to answer that question, probably.
No worries. Is there any conditions that you might think it would be acceptable to train a 12-year-old?
Probably if you had a referral from an allied health professional and the reasonings why they require weight training or resistance training.
Excellent. Okay, that's it for now. Okay, so that's all the questions that we've got.
Yeah.
How do you think you went?
Oh, I think I went okay on certain parts, but I'm sure there was quite a bit I could improve on.
Okay, what do you think you could improve on?
I probably could improve on those last few questions. I didn't really know the answers to them. Also, with a few of the exercises I demonstrated, I forgot to explain what muscle groups they work, and probably a few points with risk assessment with this particular equipment I could have improved on as well.
Okay, so do you think that's your knowledge, or is it the training that let you down in those requests?
Probably my own knowledge as well. Yeah, probably my own knowledge, I think.
Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through the questions that I asked you,
Yep.
okay, and give you a little bit of feedback as to how you responded, okay?
Yep, no worries.
So with the identifications of the hazards
Yes.
on the equipment, okay, excellent to point out the pinch points, your broken pins, cable conditions, things like that, okay? The locking rings, excellent. The second question I asked you was things to check for, and it was exactly the same as the first question. Okay, I just wanted to see if you could, on the spot, problem solve that question.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just said it's exactly the same as what I just answered, I'd identify those things as well. That's okay, I'd accept that. Okay, what to do if a pin breaks or if something breaks on there? Okay, great answer. You would tag it out straight away. You would report it to your supervisor.
Yeah.
Okay, but you'd also want to make sure that you follow up with your supervisor
And make sure
if
that hasn't
nothing's
done.
been done about it. So if you see, 2-3 days later it's still broken, just go and hit them up and say, look, what's going on? People want to use it. Where are we at with it? Okay. Question 4. How do you do a fingertip pull-up? Okay, that was a curly one.
Yeah.
Okay. It has been covered in your training, and it is in the manual on how to use the piece of equipment. So make sure you read through the documentation associated with any piece of equipment and the exercises that you can do on those pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
You were very close in identifying where, but you just had to go a little bit further in, and it's in here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the only difference is you're taking it from the main part of a pull-up and just a small little grip.
Yeah.
Okay? So just make sure you're reading through your documentation, your manuals and things like that, just so you know exactly what to do. Okay? Your 5 exercises. Great choices. Okay? The one thing that I'd make sure you point out, just importantly, when you're changing the attachments, that is a pinch point.
Yeah.
So make sure you say to the clients, just push in from the top of the clasp, okay? Or use 2 fingers. Don't put your finger in the way of it.
Yeah.
Because if that bites, that's going to hurt a little bit, okay? But the exercises were very well chosen, okay? The demonstrations were great. So there's no issues there. The only thing is just point out that pinch point, okay? Great identification of the shoulders forward.
Yeah.
When we're doing the row, okay? Great answer for that. So making sure we stay nice and proud and pulling back, okay? The lateral raise, when I asked you what that noise was, okay? What I was looking for was great, but when I asked you what you do, it goes right back to the start. You'd put a sign on the piece of equipment. You'd stop that exercise being conducted, you'd put a sign on it, and you'd report it.
Yeah.
Okay? The only other thing I'd say is when you are demonstrating the exercises, be a little bit more creative with the choices, okay? There's options there where you can use both stacks, you can attach pieces of equipment from both sides, okay? So just be very creative in your use of it. Again, it goes back to identifying the exercises that you can do in the manual or even that's demonstrated on the board of the piece of equipment, okay? Very happy with it, okay? I would like you to have a little bit more practice on identifying, okay, certain areas.
Yeah.
Just identify a little bit more clarification in the exercises, okay, and a little bit more variety with your exercises. So what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll review it all,
Mhm.
okay, and then we'll set another date that we can come through and do it again and just check that you've picked up on those little things that we need to change,
Yeah,
okay?
no worries.
The hazard identification is the key thing because we don't want to injure any of
Yeah.
our clients. So I just need you to make sure you can point out all of those before I can sign you off on it.
Yeah, no worries.
How do you feel?
Yeah, good. That's
Happy
good.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we'll book another time to go through this. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Okay? There's never enough practice you can do. If you have any questions, talk to me.
Mhm.
We'll go through it and we'll identify those problems and what we need to work on.
Yeah, no
Okay.
worries. Well, thank you for
Excellent.
that.
Well
Thank
done.
you.